Hi, my name's Aaron Curry, and in this video series, I'm going to show you why you can stop worrying about your pension when you build a buy-to-let portfolio in the coming house price crash. And I'll show you how you can buy 2 to 10 houses at rock bottom prices so you cash in on the biggest discount since 2009 without sacrificing time with your family or creating a second job for yourself. So ultimately, I'm going to show you how you can write a retirement date today that's less than 10 years away, because you'll have a bigger lifetime income than a £1 million pension would give you, thanks to my unique 6 C's system. Now that's a lot to cover, which is why there are 4 videos in this series. Now, before we go any further, I'd just like to explain why the video quality is not what I'd want it to be. We're just coming out of lockdown. We've got local lockdowns and stuff like that going on. We still need to keep our distance from each other. So I can't work with the videographer just yet. So it's just me with my laptop and a webcam. So if you want to know how you can buy 2 to 10 houses in the coming house price crash, so you can cash in on the biggest discount since 2009, all without sacrificing time with your family or creating a second job for yourself, and if the information is more important to you than the video quality, then you'll love this 4-part video series. Now, in the first video, I showed you why house prices are going to fall 5 to 10% in October or November of this year, and how long they're going to stay at the bottom of the market. So if you haven't seen that video yet, please click the link somewhere around this video, maybe off to the right-hand side, to go and watch that video right now. In the second video, I showed you my golden rules to buy world-class properties so that your portfolio makes profit from monthly cash flow and 2 other ways also. When your portfolio profits in all 3 ways, it is 4 times more profitable. So you reach your income goals faster than you dare to dream. Plus, I showed you how my golden rules also make you income tax, capital gains tax, and inheritance tax efficient. If you want property to give you a luxury retirement and a legacy for your kids and grandkids, then you need to go watch that video right now. Okay? In today's video, I'm going to share with you how ordinary, hard-working people completely change their life with property investing when they got somebody else to build a portfolio for them. You see, I meet thousands of people each year with the same story. They've invested in property for 5 to 10 years, and they've got 1 or 2 properties. These are hard-working people that know that property is the only guaranteed way to retire in 10 years or less, and between work and family and all their other commitments, they haven't made the progress that they wanted to in their property journey. And as a father of 5, I completely understand the challenge of juggling work and juggling family and making sacrifices to build that property portfolio. And right now is the best time to build a property portfolio in over a decade. That's why I'd like to share with you what happened to 3 property investors that stopped beating themselves up about the pedestrian growth in their property portfolio and what they did to give themselves a luxury retirement income in 10 years or less. So the first person that I'd like to kind of introduce you to is a guy called Perak. And Perak is everyday person. He's a go-getter. He's a successful guy. Perak is actually a business coach, but Perak, that's not irrelevant to the story. Perak had been on a property journey. He got that property was a vehicle that could get you financially free. He got that it was a massive asset class. He was so busy working hard, he started to try and invest, and over a 10-year period, Perak had built himself a portfolio of 3 properties. So he'd taken some action, he had moved forward, but nowhere near where that got you to financial freedom, nowhere near getting to where he really wanted to get with this. And it had taken him 10 years. He finally made a decision. He said, you know what? This has to get sorted. I'm so busy with my work. He's got a young family in place. I'm so busy with the family. This has to get sorted. And at that point, he approached me and my business and our Done For You service where we grow people's successful property portfolios. Now, Perak had the equity, he had some cash, he had some savings, and we were able to take that and just explode it. So he went literally within a year, just like you can over this coming 6 to 9 months, he went in a year from 3 properties to 10 properties. Now, what did that give him? that immediately gave him an increase in the ability of the money that he could release from his property portfolio. He was now on £60,000 a year. He could retire if he wanted to retire, and he could live off that. He could work less or just work with the clients that he wanted to work with and not work with the other clients that he had to work with anymore, and just do the work that he loved. He had these choices. Now, he actually used part of it to step up and buy a dream home. He loves his work, so he's carrying on working, but he's used some of the money to buy a dream home, a home he never dreamed possible to get. But because he's got that 60,000 of income that he never had before, guess what? That can fund a heck of a mortgage on your dream home and some more on top. And he uses the rest of it to have some awesome holidays. And then he reinvests the third piece to build it bigger and bigger and bigger. And that portfolio is continuing to grow and continuing to serve it. So just an everyday person working hard, family commitments, but gets that property is the right thing, but he was getting stuck. It was just taking too long. If you can get this done in 5 to 10 years, why after 10 years only have 3? Because life gets in the way. You need to make sure you get life out of the way, and especially to grab this opportunity. If you blink now, if you wait for another 3 to 6 months, this opportunity is going to have gone. You need to grab it now. Let me share with you, I suppose, a totally different story. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about John and Sue. John and Sue are very much an everyday couple. So when I meet John and Sue, they're on £27,000 a year of joint income. That's the income that they have got coming into the household, and that's what they've lived off for the last kind of 20 years. Okay, John's working full time, Sue works part time. So very small wages coming in. Okay, they've got some equity in their residential property, but they've got no buy-to-let experience at all, no knowledge whatsoever. They've got minimal savings, no savings to speak of. They're age 55. And they're staring down the barrel of state pension. That's what they've got to look forward to. They're going to, their mortgage is coming down over the years. The plan is that in the next 12 years, by the time they're 67, the mortgage will be paid down to 0, and they'll be able to retire, and they'll be able to live off state pension, and their house will be paid off. Very much an everyday couple, and for most of you listening, you've probably got an income that's above that. I know not all of you, but most of you probably have £27,000 total household income. These guys come and they sit down with me. I met them about 3 years ago. They sit down with me and we have this really great conversation. They're like, look, we need a vehicle. We need to do something different, but we've no clue. And we look at their finances. My team sit down with them. One of my experts kind of looks at everything with them. And within 6 months, their lives have changed. I'm not talking small way. I'm talking dramatically. Here's why. We were able to go and look at what the residential mortgage was versus the value of the residential house. And it had equity in it. And we were able to go to the bank and say, hey, bank, can we release some equity from the residential mortgage to increase their borrowings and take some money out? And can we use that money as deposits to put down on buy-to-lets? We're not going to use it to go on holiday. We're not going to use it to just go have a load of fun and waste it. That would be crazy to increase your residential mortgage to do that. But can I just move the equity from my residential property into buy-to-lets, put it down as deposits into buy-to-lets? It's still there then if I need to get it back. I can sell them and bring it back. Don't do that, but I can. I'm just moving it because then I'll earn more assets, they say to the bank. I'll have more properties. So when the market goes up, I'll have more than just my own house going up in value. And we work with our mortgage specialists that we work with and partner with, and they give the advice to John and Sue. And within 6 months, we've released money out from their residential property that they didn't even know they could release. Because lots of people say, well, I don't think I can do that. Well, find out. Let my team help you. Let's find out what you can release. So they find out what they can release and they can release. And we use that money. We're able to release 110,000. We use that money and we source, negotiate like crazy on, sort the solicitors the mortgage and get them bought 4 outstanding properties. 4 outstanding, real cash flow rich, great cash flowing properties to put in a portfolio for them. So they've gone overnight. They've not put any of their own money into this. They've just moved equity. I want you to get this moving equity piece. You might have equity in your buy-to-lets. You might have equity in your own house. They've moved equity from one to the other. It's still there, but now they've got 4 buy-to-lets plus their own property. Now, these 4 buy-to-lets are set up in such a way that the cash flow that they're generating, number one, will cover the increased mortgage costs on the residential. So it's not going to cost them any more money even for that. Okay, so it's covering that. Number two, it's covering all the mortgage payments for the 4 buy-to-lets, all the maintenance costs, all the letting agency fees. So this works without them. They can carry on with their normal life. And this is just working without them in the background, all happening for them with expert teams. And on top of that, the profit that is coming out is about £1,100 a month, about £13,000 a year. Now, if you remember at the start of this story about John and Sue, they were on £27,000 a year when they started. They've just increased their income by another £13,000 a year, a 50% increase in income. By the way, when you increase your income, that's brand new money. That doesn't have to go to pay your mortgage or go to pay for the car because you're already paying for those from the income you had to start with. This is stuff to have fun with. This is stuff to do some nicer things with. And you can either leave it and reinvest it and grow the portfolio even faster, but you can actually have some treats along the way. They can now have a dream holiday now, next year. They don't have to wait till they retire to have a dream holiday. They can take £5,000 this year of rental profits and go and have an amazing holiday. They can do the same every year for the next 12 years until they do retire. Why wait for the fun? They can have some fun today from the rental cash flow. Or they can leave it in and buy even more properties. They've got 4 properties. They've just got an extra 50% on their income. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Those properties were bought with discount. Those properties were well negotiated on, just like you can do right now. You can buy with 17% plus discount between July and December if you know what you're doing or you use us to do this for you. And because of those discounts, we can then refinance, release equity. I teach this in video 2, so you've got to watch video 2 if you haven't, so you understand this in detail, but refinance, release equity, buy the next ones. Then they'll go up in value. We'll refinance, release equity, buy the next ones. The plan for John and Sue, by the way, they actually decided they didn't need loads of dream holidays over the next 12 years. They already have an okay holiday. They're happy with that. It's more important that they get sorted. Okay, so they're leaving their rents in as well. Guess where they'll be 12 years from now at retirement stage? Remember that they would have been retiring on state pension? John and Sue will be retiring with a portfolio of 12 properties. They'll have rental profits coming in from those properties of £30,000 a year. £30,000 a year, so more than their 27k income now. And with the equity releases they can take as well that I teach about in video 2, they'll be on the equivalent of £95,000 per annum when they retire, the majority of it tax-free. They've gone from a lifetime of £27,000 per annum, and they're now on £95,000 per annum at retirement point, triple their current situation. Everyday people, if an everyday person can do this, you can definitely do this. And they can do that, by the way. They weren't able to buy in this next 9 months we're talking about, where the deals are going to be amazing, absolutely amazing. Okay. Let me teach you and tell you just finally about a third person. Again, a totally different person I want to talk to you about. And I want to talk to you about Jenna. Jenna actually it was at a later stage in life. So Jenna was kind of at virtually retirement stage herself. Okay. And she had a lump of money and she rented a house. She actually rented her own home, but she had a lump of money. And she could take that lump of money and buy a house for cash to go and live in herself. But she wouldn't be able to stay living in the area that she lived in where her kids and her grandkids were. She'd have to move out of area because she couldn't afford to buy a house for cash where she was. So she was going to have to take this lump sum that she'd got and move away from her family and loved ones as she's looking to retire and looking to need a bit more of their support and to be around them more. She's going to have to move away from them to be able to afford a property. But Jenna also was concerned about leaving a legacy. She wanted to look after her kids and her grandkids. She was like, I've got this lump and this is my opportunity to leave a legacy. Because wouldn't we all love to leave a legacy? By the way, if you create a portfolio that's making you $50,000 a year, when you die, guess what? Your kids inherit it and it makes them $50,000 a year forever. And then when they die, their kids get $50,000 a year forever. Okay, so this is a legacy. You're not leaving them a problem if you die with a portfolio. If it makes you 50 grand a year, it'll make them that. People forget that. They're like, I don't want to encumber my kids with a portfolio. Are you joking? Give it to me then. I'll have it. If it's making you 50 grand a year, make them 50 grand a year. If it's making you 100 grand a year, make them 100 grand a year. Anyway, I digress. So Jenna's got this money and she's considering what to do with it. And she meets us and we start speaking to her. And we look at the scenario. One of my expert team looks at that scenario. They say, do you know what? What you could do, Jenna, is this. We could take that lump of money, we could invest it into 8 buy-to-lets. That's enough deposits to get you 8 buy-to-let properties over the next 12 months. Then when you retire, here's what we can do. We can take the rental profits from 4 of those properties, let's say, and the rental profits from 4 of those properties will pay for you to rent in the area you would like to stay living in, to rent a great property where you'd like to stay living. And on top of that, have some spare money to do some funky stuff as well. You've got your retirement income that's coming anyway, but instead of sinking the money into another house, do this. 4 of your properties will feed you, give you the ability to live where you want to live for the rest of your life. So obviously that was more expensive, and have a great time. So now she's got that 1,200 quid a month, 1,000 to 1,200 coming from those 4 properties in terms of cash flow. The other 4 houses, you take the profits from those and we reinvest them and we build that legacy. But you've got 8 already. That's a flipping good legacy anyway. And those 8 are going to grow to 10, going to grow to 12, going to grow to 20. And she just explodes it. And Jenna now has gone from a position where she probably would have just bought a house for cash, used up her money to buy that 1 house for cash, and that would have been it. No savings left, no legacy, nothing else to leave. No extra income coming from it. Now she's in a position where she gets to live close to her kids and her grandkids. She's in a position where she's able to throw off some spare money to enjoy with her kids and her grandkids. And she can build not just a little legacy, a phenomenal legacy. If Jenna lives for another 15 or 20 years, by the time she passes, there'll be 30 plus properties in that portfolio. 30 plus properties. It'll be throwing off £6,000, £7,000 a month of rental profit that will pass on to the kids when she passes. Okay. But on top of that, in terms of equity releases, the types of equity releases that she's going to be looking at, they're just phenomenal. I'm talking £200,000-300,000 a year of equity releases that her family will be able to enjoy and spend or further invest. This is unbelievable from just making a different decision. And the decision was, now is the time. The decision was, I need to take action now and change this, not talk about property like I always have done, not think about property like I always have done, but I need to get it done, but let's get some help to get it done. Because the question is, if it's taken you the last 10 years to get to this point and you've still got no properties, or it's taken you the last 10 years to get to this point and you've only got 2 or 3 or 1 so far, how many are you going to be able to buy swiftly and decisively in this window of July to December if you do it on your own? These are just ordinary people just like you, people that wanted to create a luxury retirement income and a legacy for their kids, and people who made the decision, one decision that changed their lives forever. In the final video, I'll show you how to use my golden rules to buy world-class properties. When you use my golden rules to buy world-class properties, your portfolio makes profit from monthly cash flow and those 2 other ways. When your portfolio profits from all 3 ways, it's 4 times more profitable. If you've seen the second video, you'll know that you need both cash flow and equity growth to enjoy a luxury retirement income with 60% less properties than any other system. In the next video, I'll show you my simple system that guarantees every property you buy has both of these crucial elements. So make sure you look out for my email or my contact in the next couple of days so you can watch the final video in the series. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, invest with knowledge, invest with confidence, create financial freedom. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.